Well, as lawmakers across the country continue to weigh in on that missile strike in Syria, we're hearing today from Kentucky Congressman John Yarmuth. The Louisville Democrat says he supports the president's response to the inhumane actions of the Assad regime. WHAS 11's Tabby Dozier talked with Yarmuth this morning as he returns to Louisville during Washington's spring break.
Years of previous attempts at changing Assad's behavior have all failed, and failed very dramatically. As a result, the refugee crisis continues to deepen, and the region continues to destabilize, threatening the United States and its allies.
President Donald Trump issuing airstrikes this week in Syria. U.S. officials say more than 50 Tomahawk missiles were fired at an airbase and that multiple targets have been destroyed.
I think probably this was aimed at Russia, as even more so than at Syria, to try and say to Russia, you agreed to keep chemical weapons out of Syria's hands, and you obviously have failed.
Congressman John Yarmuth, who openly has said he does not agree with many of President Trump's decisions, says something needed to be done in regards to the leadership in the war-torn nation.
Everybody agrees that President Assad needs to go, that he's a horrible person and a horrible leader. Nobody knows what happens next if he's deposed.
Earlier this week, officials say a deadly nerve agent was used that killed hundreds of innocent civilians, including Syrian children. Some lawmakers, like Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, have issues with President Trump not talking to Congress first, which is called the War Powers Act.
The proper thing to do would now be for the president to come to Congress and say, I want you to approve retroactively what I did, and then be willing to approve whatever strategy I devised.
It's still unclear as to what the answer for Syria is. Many lawmakers agree that President Assad needs to go, but then what? Does that lead to an ISIS takeover? Who will run Syria? It is a complicated global crisis that concerns many, both near and far. Tabby Dozier, WHAS 11 News.
And Republicans also weighing in tonight. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul released a statement saying the president needs congressional authorization for military action as required by the Constitution, and I call on him to come to Congress for a proper debate. Our prior interventions in this region have done nothing to make us safer, and Syria will no longer be different.